Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie, and welcome back to another DraftKings DFS slate breakdown. I am just coming off of watching that PSG and Arsenal game. It was super fun. Had a good day for DFS. I had like a debate of Fabian Ruiz or Nuno or who was it? Fabian Ruiz or Donnarumma or Nuno Mendes and Marquinhos, which was my kind of decision of the slate. I ended up losing that. I went with Marquinhos and Mendes, but ended up still having a good day. Despite that, I kind of thought that that was kind of the right combo in hindsight, just because of, or it wasn't the right combo in hindsight, but I thought I was like process, just because I figured in cash games, which is what I was kind of building that team for. That was my main team. That I'd rather have the clean sheet equity of like those two defenders, and I'd be less screwed if they gave up a goal if I going Donnarumma. So lost the results, but happy with my process there. And like I said, still had a good day. Anyway, now, in terms of this Wednesday game, though, we got Barca and Inter Milan. This is kind of the game that I liked more for DFS than the Arsenal PSG game. I think this is a lot more predictable in terms of script, at least. Like Barcelona should dominate, they should hold the ball. Inter should probably be the team sitting back and playing on the counter attack there. Barcelona are minus odds, of course, as well in terms of their goal scoring odds or to go score or give assist odds. Dani Olmo is like the highest on the slate, which is kind of wild. I think Rafinha and him, they're close, but Rafinha should definitely be high. I don't think that's even a debate. Yamal up there too at plus 140. Haran too plus 100. So yeah, all these guys very much skewed towards Barcelona. Highest Inter guys, Lautaro at plus 190. In terms of our projected lineups and set pieces, oh, we took down Lautaro. For Barcelona, it should be Rafinha and Olmo splitting. Maybe Pedri takes something, maybe Yamal takes something, but it's mostly those guys right now. It used to be like a Pedri Rafinha split, but Pedri kind of lost his sets to Olmo more or less. Like good majority of them go towards Danny Olmo now. However, the issue with him is that he's a regular substitute, so he's probably going to go 60 or 70. That's a scary thing there. For Inter Milan, it should be Calhanoglu monopoly in this team. Like it's interesting. They have Augusto starting left wing back over Federico Di Marco. Di Marco is a guy who splits with Calhanoglu when he's in. He's a super attacking wing back. I love him for DFS usually. He's been not playing well. Like they got hammered against Milan in the Coppa Italia, I think a week or so ago. Di Marco got yanked at 50 minutes, so I could see why maybe they opt for a more defensive option in Augusto, especially considering they're playing Barcelona. That's just something to watch out for. If it's this lineup, Calhanoglu becomes just an infinitely more better spot just because he's got a monopoly versus a split. Now, in terms of pricing, Rafinha 11K, I will be locking him into almost every team I build. Probably like 95% of my lineups in GPP will have Rafinha. Speaking of GPP, I'm happy that it is a big 10K to first contest. We haven't seen that in a little bit for soccer. And it's really deserved for these Champions League semifinals. I hope plenty of people play. I hope we get that to fill just because I love when soccer is doing well. So yeah, Rafinha 11K. Like I said, like that's my favorite play on the slate. I don't think he's probably like 85% owned or something in GPP. I'll be over the field on that for sure. And I'll be playing in cash. Like it's going to be a core play. I'm telling you now before we even go any further. Just great floor, great upside. Was not great against Dortmund, but that's just a weird game because they were already 4-0 up after the first leg on aggregate. I'm not going to worry about that whatsoever. Like I love Rafinha here. I have nothing more to say about him. Lewandowski is out, so we will see Ferran Torres as the number 9. He's been playing pretty well. Like I think he's a decent GBP option. I just find it hard for myself to get there in cash games just because he's going to have a little bit of sub risk to him. He's not Lewandowski in terms of goal contribution production. So, like I said, like decent GPP play, I find myself struggling to get there in cash, especially if we see like this lineup where I would be more inclined to kind of jam a Calhanoglu. And it just doesn't have a ton of salary, especially when I'm going Lamine Yamal, who is my second best option on this slate. I'll be playing him in cash likely as well. He's been playing super well, got 2 assists against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final. He's just been playing super well. He's just one of the best players in the world at 17, which is just crazy to think about, or maybe he's 18 now, but he's just so young and just plays beyond his age for sure. So yeah, look at these locks. Like he's been great. Only second to kind of Rafinha in points per game. So yeah, I love Yamal here. Him and Rafinha, those are my favorite 2 plays on the slate. Yamal, I just put a peg below Rafinha, but both just phenomenal options. Danny Olmo at 9K. He was a little bit steep. I loved him during that Copa del Rey showdown. He was like 6,600 against Real Madrid. So I thought it was like a smash spot. He didn't do that great. He had like 10-4 or something, which is completely fine for that price. At 9K, like a 70-minute guy, that's a little bit more scary just because he's been priced up a decent amount here. He's hard to fit if you're already just penciling in going Rafinha and Yamal. It doesn't leave a ton of salary left over. Let's just do an example build here just to show how much you've got left to work with. Like this is doable. If you throw in like a Chalanolu here, for example, you've got 3,600 per spot. Maybe you don't go Chalanolu. Maybe you go someone cheap like a Kunde or something. That becomes a little bit different. Like punt your Inter player. One of these spots go like a Barcelona punt. That could work. But that's kind of a debate. Like it's hard to go like Olmo and Chalanolu together in your cash builds. Like I'm assuming most people go Yamal and Rafinha in cash. Like that's what I'm doing. So it makes it a little tough to kind of maneuver there at 9K. Like I don't mind an Olmo play, but like I said, you've got the minutes concern there, and it just feels a little bit pricey for the spot. However, saying that, like these goal scoring odds or these two score to or give assist odds are super favorable to him. And if you're going to just like a pure Barca stack and it's kind of fine with playing whatever Inter Milan play, like you don't worry too much about getting Çalhanoğlu, I think it's a completely reasonable route, especially if you stick a DiMarco and it becomes like a split. Then I think that Çalhanoğlu play just doesn't become as appealing whatsoever. So yeah, Almo, that's a decision that we made there. Taro, I think will be a decent GBP build. I wouldn't get there in cash. Çalhanoğlu, like I talked about a lot. Like if we see this lineup here, I'm gonna try my best to get him in there. Like I don't know if I'll do that for sure, just because we have to see how the rest of the lineup shake out. Maybe there's like some bargain attacker. I don't know, like Gavi, like on the wing or something. Probably not gonna happen, but just spitballing. I just find it hard to get off of a monopoly Çalhanoğlu here. I just think he becomes just the best Inter player by some distance and kind of worth cramming and in your cash builds. There were other Inter guys like I'm considering like Sommer, DiMarco. Like I said, if he starts, it's like you don't have to go Çalhanoğlu. Like there is other options, but just for cash, he feels like the safe Inter play. Past him, Pedri scored that really good goal against Real Madrid over the weekend. I just am not playing him right now with Olmo playing, just because he's overpriced for a setless center mid. I know he's safe for minutes and all that, but I'm not playing that in cash for that much. I'll maybe have a share in GPP. Maybe I'll have like a build where I have him instead of Olmo, hoping for like an early Olmo sub. Maybe he gets set pieces that way, with like a half. That's kind of the only game script I can think of where I really like a Pedri. And once again, that just emphasizes game script that I always say for Showdown, or I have for the Tuesday slates. So yeah, like other than that, I think just need specific game scripts for him. Otherwise, I just don't love it. DiMarco at 7K, he feels like a trap waiting to happen if he starts. He's been so unsafe for minutes, and this stat line seems super unsustainable against Bayern. Like he had 9 points, but only 4 crosses. He had 2 shots, 2 key passes, a couple of tackles. Like I like this line against who's MON? I'm blanking. Monaco? I think that's Monaco, where it was a little more sustainable with him. He had key passes and crosses. Those are kind of, I think, the most sustainable kind of points you can get as like a attacking wing back because your crosses from corners, your key passes from sets, like crossing to somebody ahead or something. But when you need like all your points in tackles and shots, I just don't think that is that sustainable, especially against a super good Barcelona team. And considering he's been getting subbed quite a bit pretty early, I kind of hope he just doesn't start, so I don't have to have like the headache of thinking about playing him. But like I'm just a sucker for DiMarco. I would be tempted if he starts. Just I think he could very much be a trap. Martin feels a little bit overpriced for me. Kunde scored that goal against Real Madrid. He's safe for 90. Doesn't offer the craziest floor in terms of like crossing or your traditional like attacking fullback points. Like he's a little bit more defensive, kind of relying more on like tackles, some foul grounds, and just getting there and just his guaranteed minutes. However, he does have 3 assists on the season. 2 of those, of course, was against Young Boys, which is wasn't Young Boys. It was all 3 of them actually were against Red Star. So not those consistent in terms of those goal contributions. But saying that like he has a bunch of 8s, 6s, 7s in there, you're gonna want a clean sheet from him, I'd say, to kind of pay off this 6K range. But if he does that, like I'm sure he can get to 8 pretty easily with like that 3 in clean sheets, which you'd be hoping for playing that play. So I don't mind a Kunde here. Szczesny, I think, is kind of cheap. He's been very solid. Like he had 8 saves against Dortmund. got the clean sheet in the first leg, 11 saves over the last two games. Was awesome against Benfica too. Like he's been playing super well. He's kind of changed this Barcelona team for the better. Like Ter Stegen was kind of error prone, and it was kind of a blessing that he got injured for them because he's played really well. Like I'm likely to get to this in cash even. I think it's a really good spot. He's pretty cheap at 5,800 when they're minus odds. And he doesn't even really need a clean sheet to get there. Like if he makes, he's not going to make eight saves, I don't think. But if he's like a win in like three or four saves, let's do the math there. So he gives up one goal, makes four saves, six plus a win. That's 11 points about. That's completely fine for 5,800. I think Barcelona win this game too. So yeah, I really like a Szczesny play here. After him down here, guys, I'm thinking about is Dumfries still injured? Oh, he's in projected. Dumfries, I don't mind it. How much was he? 5,200. That's pretty cheap. Augusto, wing back. However, he's going to be splitting minutes with DiMarco, even if he starts. So I'd rather go with Dumfries there between those two. Sommer, I think, is a very decent play just because he should have a decent floor and saves, hopefully, unless he uses like negative points, which would suck. But at 4,600, I think that could be worth the risk. Inter have been super solid defensively. Like, I don't think Barcelona would put up three or four. I think two or three is probably the max they probably get against this pretty stingy Inter defense. So DiMarco could definitely make like five saves, get like a four, which I think would pay off that 4,600 price tag. Yeah, that's if he gives up like three goals. Which I think is probably worst case for them. Like he's just been solid throughout. He's probably in this lineup right here. I think Sommer's my second favorite Inter play after Çalhanoğlu. Other guys down here, like these Barcelona center back, I think are pretty good options. Kubarsi and Inigo Martinez, both sub 4K or cheaper. I'm kind of just playing him for clean sheets. Like Kubarsi had like 15 against Dortmund too because of that assist he got. Kind of should have had a goal there. Rafinha kind of stole it off of like on the line where it should have been going in anyway off of Kubarsi. And Inigo's had 3 goal contributions in 9 games. When he keeps a clean sheet, he's good for like a 5 to 7, which is exactly what you want for like a 4K defender. So yeah, like all of us are kind of having Barcelona keeping a clean sheet in mind. So they don't necessarily to get that, but that's kind of what you're playing for, playing these defenders down here. And then the only other guy I think is maybe worth a mention here is Nico Barella. 4K is cheap for him. I know he hasn't been in great form, but he had a ton of goal contributions last season. He plays like this pretty attacking midfielder role. Like he's the most attacking of these three midfielders for sure. Çalhanoğlu is kind of more of like a Pirlo type, where he's kind of the furthest back spraying passes. Leaves Barella kind of be like the late box crasher, kind of like the box to box mid. And yeah, 4K I think is a pretty good bargain option for you. Add goal contributions against Monaco and Feyenoord, 10 and 12 there. I think if you're playing for Inter to get a goal, which means like not playing Szczesny, maybe not going down to these Barca center backs, I go Barella here at 4K. I think he's got a decent chance of. Well, let's look at his odds here to score, give assists. Yeah, plus 390 is not bad at all for 4K. So yeah, I'm tempted by a Barella play. Yeah, those are the pricing. In terms of the core, I'm going Rafinha, I'm going Yamal, and I think the third spot is a little bit tough. I think there's an argument for a Çalhanoğlu, a Szczesny, DiMarco, probably not DiMarco, Olmo. I'm actually going to put Szczesny in my core for now. I think in cash, those guys are all going to be super popular. I think they're all great options. GBP always get a little bit different. I will not have as much Szczesny, or I won't have Szczesny in a ton of GBP builds. I'll have in a decent chunk, but he's not as much of a lock there. But yeah, that's how I do cash. But yeah, guys, as always, make sure to like and subscribe. I never say that actually, but there you go. But yeah, that'll be it, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.